My name is Phil Duncan, and I'm a lecturer at the University of Kansas. For this project, I've been working on Metpa, which in Spanish is known as Tlapaneco. It's spoken by roughly 100,000 people, primarily in the eastern part of the state of Guerrero, in a region that's known as La Montaña. And I've primarily worked with people from the city of Ilianteco, and I work with a lot of people that live in the United States also. I also work on Ibibio from Nigeria. I've done some work on Cachiquel, which is a Mayan language from Guatemala, and done some work on Kizh, which is a Native American language spoken in Oregon. Well, I learned about it through friends of mine at work before I was ever interested in linguistics, before I had even heard of what linguistics was. For years, I had worked at a restaurant near where I was from, and essentially I had a lot of people that were from the state of Guerrero that were working with me. They were my friends, and we would always, they would be teaching me words in Metpa. So one of my first words that I learned was nacha, porque they were telling me to do things a little bit quicker. Nacha Felipe, Nacha Felipe. And slowly they would teach me some things, and we would kind of always talk about that. And then eventually when I got into linguistics, for my Phonetics 1 project, I had to work on a language of my choice to do an exploration of vowels. And I asked a friend of mine if he would help me, and that kind of snowballed into a lot of other projects. And so I've been fortunate to have really good friends that are very interested in their own languages and have been willing to work with me and let me work with them too, because it's been a real honor to do that with them. Yeah. It's more than 10 years. So I was kind of fresh out of high school, I guess, and I think the first time I met some friends of mine who spoke Metpa, it was probably around the year 2000, something along those lines. And I had lived in Lawrence, which is where the University of Kansas is, but I wasn't a student yet. And that's when I started getting some first exposure to just with talking with friends and learning some phrases and words and things along those lines. I didn't return to do linguistics until 2006. And so it was probably around 2007, 2008 that I first did that Phonetics 1 project. My undergrad honors thesis wasn't about Metpa, it was about Canjobal, and I was working with Pedro Mateo Pedro. And, but later on, when Harold actually convinced me to take syntax seriously, I started investigating some things in Metpa and working more regularly with people in my community. Yeah. I mean, the situation, as far as I know it, is very different in, say, Guerrero, where there are programs to teach, and those are pretty darn strong from what I understand. There's a lot of really great work, great native speaker linguists even that are working on those kind of educational programs. Where I'm at, it's a little bit different because it depends on each family. In some cases, one person speaks Metpa and the spouse speaks Nahuatl, and everybody speaks Spanish in the home, but they want their kids to speak English, and so everybody kind of ends up making a lot of different decisions that they feel are best for their family. And yeah, but they are very interested, at least as far as I've been working with them, they've been very interested in continuing to do that.